Indian markets tend to be cyclically in sync with the monsoon. That's on the demand side of things. And if we get a good monsoon, then what it really does is puts money in the pockets of farmers. And that's where the ripple effect of consumption really broadens out, from the small villages to the townships to the mid-sized cities to the big cities. And this year, monsoon has been quite good. It's above average. The reservoirs and rivers are full. That augurs well for even the forthcoming crop. So I would say demand outlook is super good. However, for the last couple of quarters, revenue hasn't been so robust for Indian companies. It's growing about 9-10%, but profits in mid-teens. So overall, I would say Indian markets, on the back of Indian economy, seem strong, even though the market overall is expensive. I would imagine for the remainder of the year, we'd probably go sideways and then come back with a renewed focus next year as new earnings come out.
Mm-hmm. And we are increasingly seeing, Praveen, structural tailwinds for Indian companies, particularly those who have a sort of a multinational or international exposure, given the fact that as the political rhetoric doesn't seem to be going away, and depending on who gets into the White House this November, it might even escalate between China and the US. Maybe India is poised to be the beneficiary of all of that.
Absolutely, Mandy. I think so. No matter whether it's Trump or Kamala Harris who comes to the White House, they have literally no choice but to play a populist role and increase tariffs. So US-China trade wars, I totally see that as escalating, which will have an impact on inflation globally as well as in the US. And to put it in a very perverse fashion, America needs a new drug. It has been reliant on cheap Chinese goods for way too long. And given now the animosity between US and China on multiple dimensions, US needs to hunt for a new China, a new drug. And India is fast stepping into that as a China plus one story.
The Nifty 50 has done pretty well this year, is up about 13% or so. But as Sam said, we have seen some recent volatility and the market is off its highs from early August. Do you see the market overall getting back to those highs and being able to surpass them this year, Praveen?
It may. In the short term, Mandy, anything is possible. We don't really watch day-to-day movements which are triggered by short-term events and news flow. What's happened year to date, 2024, foreign investors have withdrawn money from India. Not because they dislike India. It's essentially a risk-off trade on emerging markets. And the biggest expression of emerging market disinterest has been China. Because if you were an emerging market investor over the past 3-4 years, you would have lost a ton of money. And therefore, with US doing so well, NASDAQ, S&P on all-time highs, there's little appetite for EM risk, and therefore EM has been in the doghouse, and India has been collateral damage, which is why foreign investors have been pulling out of India. On the other side, domestic investors have come into Indian markets like never before, and that's what kept the Indian markets afloat. But I would say we'll probably see a sideways movement between now and end of the year just for the markets to consolidate and digest the earnings.